Hello, this is Cheryl, and I'm so grateful you're joining me today. Trust that this safe and loving space is exactly where you are meant to be, to ignite your higher self and empower you in this very moment in time. There are no coincidences, so trust the nudges that call to you. As I open, channel, and share today's light-filled conversation, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. We are all working to uncover the truths that will serve us on our unique journeys. Each new day brings discovery, and this truth is always empowering, illuminating, and available to us. Now is your moment to deepen your spiritual connection. If it's light, it's right. Hi, and welcome back to If It's Light, It's Right. And today is our final stop on the dream train. In part one, we open the doors to dreams, learning how our soul speaks while the conscious mind sleeps, and we explore the alliance between our waking and sleeping selves, and how we process dreams with balance, and how it keeps us emotionally stable on our journey, always giving insight on what we need to work on. And then in part two, we started looking at specificness of different types of dreams. And we looked at prophetic dreams. And those are dreams that the future will be bringing. They are a spiritual, a divineness of dreams. And then we talked about problem solving and informational dreams, which is more what helps us in our earth journey. And those are dreams that solve issues or give information. And again, always with light, love, and comfort, right? That alliance between our lighted self and our waking self. In part three, we move to those very sometimes scary dreams, and I hope that it diffused that a little bit for you. I coin them as release dreams, but that is where we find place, and they're often disguised as nightmares, but not always true nightmares, right? They're just things that are come to surface that we need to help us to release. Sometimes they're not our darkest dreams, but again, I always want to preface that they cannot harm you, right? They are not prophetic dreams. They are just our higher self trying to give us that freedom to acknowledge or move through, or always for comfort. Always for comfort. They're never to harm us, but truly help us to release, heal, and grow lighter. And that sometimes doesn't happen right away. Sometimes we have to just give ourselves some time to digest a dream. And that, again, in spirituality, over and over and over, I say no rules, no have tos, no time limits, right? It is what speaks to you. Then we move to part four, and we shifted into some softer space, right? In wish and memory dreams and astral dreams. Astral dreams being of divineness of spirit. Wish and memory are just those feel-good dreams that speak to us on our earthly journey. Both together are just beautiful views from loved ones, journeys from beyond the veil, those astral travels when we travel outside of our humanness, and always given to us to support, connect us in that limitlessness that our spirit truly has and wants to keep moving us towards, right? We're all connected. We're all connected for the greater good of your journey, your higher self, again, loved ones, all the divineness on the other side. Always, always, always. And that is what the reason why I wanted to bring this dream series out was to establish, and again, your open heart knows all these answers, for you to see that they're not random, that our divine gift of free will, we create these dreams, or we involve ourselves in those spiritual aspects of dreams, astral travel and propheticness. We accept that. We want that. We need that. Keep reminding us of that light. It's all purposeful for our lighted journey. It is never to injure us. It's never to trip us up. It is always to encourage us to keep moving on the journey. And that was my primary goal to bring forward in this series, is to just show the light. Dreams are light, and it is our alliance. So today, our final chapter, we bring it all together. And today, not talking specificness of dreams, but dreams in a collective knowledge. I want to talk about setting your intention and receiving messages through your dreams and how you can do that. And interpreting your dreams, how we can gently interpret our uniqueness, right? We talk about that a lot in this series, is my connection is unique and no one can tell me my connection. But I do want to just give you some archetypes to see how they fit with you, because how you resonate with the symbol in your waking self generally transfers to your sleeping self. So how do you feel when you see, feel, or hear this? and just some general ones that our subconscious kind of takes hold of and brings it into our dreams. So again, keep your heart open to see what fits for you. Again, there's not rigidity symbols or outside sources, but always listening to your heart knows and what your spirit feels when we talk about that interpretation and some of the symbolism. And we're also going to talk about how to style your own dream journal. What are some things I should include? What are some things I should keep in mind? Certainly, you can email me. I'll give you, I have some generic sheets that I kind of have, and you're more than welcome to make copies or use those parts. And for my share today, I'm actually going to show the dream journal in those characteristics in a true dream that I had, an authentic dream. And I asked for myself, I was having a class and I said to my higher self, I said, give me a dream to put on the paper. Give me a dream that will speak and then I will be able to speak to my group with. And they did. I shouldn't say they did. I did. Right? I did. My higher self did. I'm sure I'm sure I got some help from my Calvary on the other side, giving me what I've asked for. Again, I don't try to sift out and feel what part of light gave it to me. I say light is light, right? And light is right. So I don't work hard to siphon out to see exactly where the light. It's collective for me. So we'll do a dream journal. And this can be a spiritual tool to help you track patterns, to receive insights, right, from your higher self. Your higher self is always trying to move you on your path and to give you direction. And so this is a great way to kind of track the patterns and build that trust with your inner knowing, with your spiritual connection. Building that trust is so important, not only in your dream state, but in your awake state, is trusting that spiritual confidence that we need in order to trust that I really do see, feel, and hear spirit. And this is a beautiful way to dedicate your light that way. Because the more you honor your dreams, the more they begin to speak to you. Right. And if you're not a dreamer, you can start. If you are a dreamer, you can continue. If you don't want to be a dreamer, beautiful. No worries. Just do as I say sometimes. Bring it forth when I need it. Right? I don't need to remember every dream, but bring it forth when I need it. But truly know that what you tell your spirit to do, it does, right? It does. So for those people that go, I am relentless in my dreaming. All I do is dream, and I want to stop. You have that power, right? You have that power. Think about why you are giving yourself that experience. Maybe you just needed to acknowledge that I can dream and it makes sense to me, or I dream and it means something to me. I do have a higher self. I do have psychic abilities. I'm going to tell you you do. But maybe your higher self is trying to convince you of that or give you that. I call it spiritual mule kick sometimes. So open up. If something keeps, I always say, if something keeps circling around and circling around, whether it's a dream aspect or a waking aspect or a thought that keeps coming around, there's something for you to do with it. It's a lesson or a blessing, right? There's something for me to do with it. And sometimes it's just acknowledgement. I don't need to move towards action. I just move to say, sometimes I just say, thank you. I know that the light is watching me and I needed that at this moment. So thank you. So be open to whatever that interpretation is. But if it keeps circling around, there's something for you to address. Something, a lesson or a blessing is kind of how I kind of place it in. So the more you listen, the more your spirit's going to respond. So whether your dreams feel confusing, comforting, or like a message wrapped in a mystery, or illogical and fantastical, as some of my dreams end up, it's okay, right? My light knows a way. And again, knowing that I've authored that, it speaks to me. I understand it more. And that feels light and right to me, even if I don't have an answer or I don't have the message or I'm just inquisitive, like, why would I ever A, B, or C? I know I did. And I'm not going to wrestle with that. I'm not going to fight that. And certainly if it's something that's uncomfortable, in those release dreams, that's where the uncomfortable dreams are. And they certainly have a wide range of emotions. Sometimes just saying, okay, I know I authored that. I'm not really ready to that upsets me to think I authored that. Speak your truth, right? Speak your truth, speak your affirmations. And maybe you just go to that piece where it doesn't mean that it's fact, right? It's not going to hurt me. It was a dream. It's not going to hurt me, right? And like I said in that episode, pretend like it's a scary movie and you're really getting scared, or it's a thriller, and you're really fearing something. It's only a movie, right? There's no facts to it. So that is what release dreams kind of are, in a sense. They are lighted facts because you gave that to yourself in some way, but sometimes very much the ego takes it and it just takes it for a ride off the cliff, right? So be aware of that. Be aware of that in all aspects of your dreams. Give yourself that clarity, that comfort, in whatever way that speaks to you. And know that every night in the quiet of sleep, your walk continues. It walk continues. So we're going to start with setting intent to create the dreams that will send you guidance or help you in your journey, right? We talked about in the last episode, the Wish Your Dreams, how I create a dream that makes me happy, right? Gives me that exhale, right? But these are dreams that are more purposeful. These are dreams where ego could come in a little bit more because they're more serious. They're maybe life decisions and need help and guidance. So these are like a little bit more deeper. These take a little bit more intent and direction. So just hear this. The 4 verbs I'm going to use is determine, ask, awaken, and trust. So determine what you need. Is it guidance on information? Is it that you need reassurance or comfort on something that you decided? An example might be, I'm very worried about leaving the company I work for. And I'm going to keep that kind of going through in this little blurb. Um, I think I want to leave this company. Can I have some comfort or reassurance that this is something that is okay in my thoughts? Doesn't mean you have to, right? Be open. Don't embellish and don't translate to an answer. Just sometimes it's that the dreams that give you comfort. Like, I see what you're going through. I see sometimes your dreams will give you some guidance. Sometimes it's just creating comfort. Like, and that could come in all different forms. So determine what you need. Ask, right? Determine what you need. Next verb is ask. And you're using your own words. And don't worry about being too technical and not technical. You're talking to your higher self, right? I always say be concrete though. Don't be slanging your language. Use your verbs very directly, very black and white. That is how spirit works. And that is how the guidance comes, right? If we have it loosey-goosey, then sometimes it's hard to hone in what really means something. So be direct, concrete, black and white as much as you can. State exactly what you need. So maybe before sleep, same thing. Did I make the correct decision leaving my job? Right? I'm leaving my job. Give me comfort on that, or tell me, answer that for me. And again, your higher self will always give light, love, and comfort, never judgment, right? Never, oh, no, you made the wrong decision. That'll be your ego that takes it there, right? But I always say, when you ask a question in light, it's never wrong. But it doesn't always mean that the journey is going to be a road of gold. And so when I say, when you make a decision in light, keep making it right. And when I say that, that means keep looking forward. Don't look backwards, and don't use the word but. Because I always say ego's doing push-ups in the parking lot, right? Just turn around. I'm gonna talk you out of this. So when you make a decision in light, then keep making it right. Don't turn it into wrong. Right? It doesn't mean it's happy. It might be moving you down to the challenge that you're supposed to get to, but know that you made it in light, and it is right. It is right for whatever reasons or purposefulness of your journey. Next piece after you've asked is awaken yourself. Ask to be awakened. Ask to be awakened. Remind yourself before going to sleep that that you want to be awoken when your dream is created, or when you author, or when the message is there, or when there's something for you to gain in your humanness. Waken me. Make me awake, right? Make me awake. Sometimes I hear clapping, and I know that's my psychicness too. Sometimes I hear clapping, or I hear my name being called. And that's sometimes wake up, wake up, wake up. Sometimes that is spirit kind of tapping on me, and sometimes I'll dismiss it, but that is what your spirit will do, right? Maybe you'll have to use the bathroom like I have I talked about that in my prior episode, right? What was that dream? What was that all about? So again, ask yourself to be awakened, to give your conscious self, your logical, your rational mind, the answers it asks. And then the final verb is trust. And don't give up. Your dreams will offer you truths if you ask that, but sometimes you have to be open for that interpretation, right? It isn't always a directness. It isn't always exactly how your human brain thinks it should be answered. And that is really so important, because we lose our trust so often with that. We say, but that's not what I was told, or that was not, was it? Or did your humanness narrate that answer? Did your humanness create that story end? And that is not what spirit does, right? There's no thinking involved. So you have to be open and ask for it another way. Ask for it a different way. Ask for it again. Ask, 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 ask. You never tire of asking. That is how the spiritual confidence comes in waking self and in dreams, right? If you feel that I can't dream, it's not coming to me, well, that's all ego, 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 ego. And that is going to be hard for the spirit world to penetrate because that concrete wall is three-dimensional, right? And that spirit, that light is going to have a hard time seeking through. So be confident and be open, right? Be open. And when you have a dream that keeps repeating itself, listen to it. Listen to it. Sometimes it's an immediate, I'll give you a quick example on that. And sometimes it's just one that kind of keeps repeating itself in a lifetime. Note when it shows itself up. It's a knock on your door, right? It's a knock on your door. I had a friend that said to me, Cheryl, I need some help. I said, okay. And he said, I keep having the same dream. It's 3 days in a row. I said, okay, talk to me about the dreams. I'm just going to be very direct and specific. This person loved to play golf. He also was someone that really loved an early mentor, early coach. I believe it was in high school, and that he respected and admired to a high degree. And this person loved to play golf and was really working on his golf game. It wasn't going so well. He was a very good athlete in his day. Why can't hit this darn ball? That type of piece. And he goes, 3 nights in a row, Cheryl, Coach Walsh, I don't remember, Coach Walsh keeps showing up on the golf course while I'm hitting the ball. And I said, okay. I said, what do you feel? He says, well, I feel, in your dream, how are you feeling? He goes, I feel aggravated. I feel like, why can't I hit this ball? And he's watching me, so I gotta be good. I gotta do things good. I could admire him. He was a person of persons for me, way beyond a coach and a mentor. He's spoken into his heart. And I said, okay. I said, well, that feeling is, and it was the same for all three. He goes, yeah. And I said, okay, well, what do you think? What do you feel? Your uniqueness. He goes, I think he's telling me how to hit the ball or how to play golf. And I just broke in laughter. I go, he's not teaching you how to play golf. It has nothing to do with golf. But what the dream interpreted, and he completely, after he stopped laughing, heard it. He did a familiar location, right? Golf, and how he's trying to do things and do things well. And this mentor person, he authored him. He was not astral traveled, but he authored him in. He authored him in because he deeply respected his opinion, his thoughts, his person, everything about him. But he was aggravated that he couldn't hit that ball straight or wherever that was. And so that interpretation, and again, it was a channel, that interpretation came as, what are you frustrated in this life? What are you trying to do in your human life that is not going to, there's a lot of frustration in your life that you need to release. And when I said that epiphany flung like a pin, and he's like, that is exactly how I feel in my working life. Like I can't do enough or all things right. And it has really, really been surmounting on me. And so I said, and he's like, that makes perfect sense because this coach, this mentor was not just how to teach me how to play sports. He taught me how to be a man. He taught me what life means. And so he finished the interpretation and he said, I need to let go of what I can't control. I have to just find ease with the good things that I can do. And I was like, and I could hear clapping. I'm like, yes, that's what coach meant. I'm not trying to get better at your game. We still laugh at that when we talk about it. But again, it repeated 3 nights in a row. So that was a spiritual mule kick for his higher self to go, keep doing it. I'm going to keep giving into it. This friend knew that he would bring this out to me. So by having this, that I would help channel his answers or help him in deciphering this because he knew this was something. He goes, how can this same dream be happening? And again, that's how our higher self works in so many different fashions. But trust where your nudges, trust where your spiritual instinct is. He knew this was something. He misinterpreted it with his humanness because he was very involved in this golf game of his that he couldn't find success in it, but it had nothing to do with the golf game. It was just parallelism for his life or for where he was in the most important part in his life. And he completely understood that and upheld that. So again, be open to the interpretation. Be open to the interpretation of what the dream brings. Don't let your ego interpret it for you. I'm going to take a small break and then we're going to talk about some dream symbols. So, some common dream symbols. And again, I want to always emphasize that these are generalizations. It's generally what dreams sometimes mean to most people, maybe not you. So, be open to that because how you feel about it in your human self is a good indicator of how you would feel about it if you saw it in a dream. Because remember, that is the communication, the translation your higher self is trying to give you. Your higher self's got it. Your self knows A to B, right? It doesn't need any of this work, but our human selves need all the work. So again, it's learning the communication that you carry. So stay open to the symbolism. And I'm gonna just go through a few of them. I'm gonna give you some questions that just some stirring pieces that say, what speaks to you? And then we'll move to putting together a dream journal once we kind of have these symbols, because that symbolism is part of your dream journal and how you will interpret it, just like my friend interpreted the golf game. So I'm going to name the symbol, what it represents, and some interpretation and reflection questions that support it. So when you dream about a house, and if you remember, I talked about a house in episode 4 in Release Dreams, where I was in my particular house. And when I did my share, that house was me. It was something that myself was going through. So even though I was in my house, that house symbolism was really the self. It was me. And that is a representation. So when you feel deeply connected to a house, or you are a house, or there is a house that speaks to you, again, what speaks to you so deeply in your dreams is part of your lifeline to figure out the interpretation. So be open to it. And that's how all the symbols will be. And sometimes you'll see a house and it has nothing to do with the dream, right? It's just a house. It's noise. It's just details that are not important. So it has to be what you feel and what speaks to you in the dream. That's when the symbolism has meaning. And that's what I'm pocketing right now. So a house is the self, the you. What does that house look like? What are its characteristics? What do those features mean to you? Tree. Tree is usually intellect, but non IQ intellect. Just awareness and wisdom. How many branches are there in the tree? Are they strong? Are they weak? Is this tree alone or near something? Again, when that symbolism hits you, it hits you, and these are just some things to open to, right? To open to. Nothing defines you if you don't resonate with it. Snake, sometimes a mental connection, sometimes it is a sexuality that's connected to it. Is that snake, is it healthy? Is it sick? Is it moving? Is it near anything? How does it make you feel when you see the snake? Water, emotion, sometimes it's maternal energy, a female energy. Where is it? Is it still or flowing? Is it near anything? Does it feel enclosed or free? The sun is generally a masculine energy, a fatherly energy. Is it big? Is it small? Is it warm? Does it have rays? What emotions does it evoke? A car, and this is going to be part of my share. You're going to see this car as a piece of me too. Direction, life transitions. And for me, the symbolism really did hit home. Without seeing this in black and white that I put together, it really was part of my dream that we'll talk about at my share. Is it moving? Who's driving? Where's it going? Does it feel supportive of our uncertainty? Nudity. I do have this on occasion, and I do understand this too. It's a vulnerability and exposure. It's not about being nude, but we wake up embarrassed, right? We wake up with shame and embarrassment. Like, why would I ever dream that? But again, it is communication. You don't have to share any of this. It is just communication between yourself and your higher self. Are you feeling unprepared or embarrassed? Is it symbolic of change or emotional release? Losing teeth, communication, maybe some regret. Are you saying too much? You're saying too little? Do you speak or regret something? Animals or totems, when you see maybe spirit animals or the same animal coming in and in and in, is that some inner guidance? Do you feel connected to this animal? Does it reappear? What qualities does it carry? We do all choose spirit animals, and that's very unique to help us in our journey. A very strong spirit animal of mine is an owl. And it's because of flight, wisdom and flight, and just that reminder to hold those and move forward with those. So again, what is your totems? What animals do you feel connected to, and why? Right? Is there a fierceness? Is it protected? Is it why? Why are you connected to that animal? Generally, there is a lighted aspect to it, and they show up in our dreams. And they show up in our dreams. Storms, weather, emotional turmoil, transition. Are you feeling overwhelmed? Is there chaos in your what messages might spirit be sending you that help you to understand what that stormy weather is? Pregnancy, being pregnant, whether you're a male or a female. I, it does that doesn't don't bring a specific meaning to things, right? New growth, maybe creativity comes with that dream of pregnancy. What's being born with you? What was previously hidden from now feels possible. Sometimes that pregnancy we think is prophetic. Oh my goodness, I want to be pregnant, or I don't want to be pregnant, or sometimes. But again, keep in mind, propheticness is a different lighted feel. And it's not one that needs a lot of support and understanding. It's a knowing, right? That when your dreams, your spirited dreams, your propheticness, or your astral travel, and they don't need a lot of interpretation. There's just a strong knowing there. So if that knowing isn't there, it could be clouded by an ego, so be aware of that. But generally it means it is not of that divine source. So keep open to that. And I say that with light, love, and comfort, because we think so many things are prophetic. We dream about it, it's going to happen. And I want to say, no, no, no. Release that, right? It is a release dream. It is something that speaks to you. But again, your higher self in your heart has all these answers. Ask, 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 ask. Death. This is a very, very big one, because people are so afraid of death. And so when they see it in their dreams, whether it be themselves or someone else, they very much think it's propheticness, or they have a fear, or it instills a fear. And I want to say sometimes it's just an ending of something. It's a transformation of something. When I do spirit cards and there's a death card, people get so, I say, this is a beautiful card. Generally, spirit gives me messages that there's a new change coming, right? There's a new change coming. What belief or habit or situation is ending? What are you releasing? It's not a prophetic symbol. It does not mean you're going to die. So know that. If you have fear in your dream, then that is not prophetic. Always know that. It is the emotion that you carry in the dream that is really, it's a cut and dry. It's a cut and dry. It's like a book is either fiction or nonfiction. And then there's many categories right off those. That's how divine dreams work. It is either the divine or not. And the divineness is prophetic, and you just know it. You just know it. And if you have fear, then you're not in divineness. You're not in the light. Who's showing up in your dream? What does their presence symbolize? Just as that dream I talked about with my friend in the golf game, and that specific person that he authored in, right? Why is this present? What does this present symbolize? What emotional imprint does that dream leave? Right? So be mindful of that. That's where the wish and the dreams come. Maybe you need to make a big decision, and your grandmother was always that person that spoke that straight truth to you, and you authored her in. Maybe you authored her in purposely because what you felt in that dream, maybe that was a nudge you needed to take, right? And maybe I don't even know this person. Why is this person here? Or it's a nobody kind of in your life, and they're here. And you'll hear that in my dream too. I do author someone else in the dream. In my dream, I'm like, why this person? It had it had no relevance. It had nothing to do with what my dream meant. It just, that person showed up. So sometimes it's significant, sometimes it's not. And be open to that. You don't have to author every detail of your dream. Does not have to have specificity. My lips are getting big here. Does not have to have a direct correlation to a message. So be open to that, because sometimes we have strangers. Strangers are another symbolism. Unfamiliar aspects of self. When you feel like that stranger, there's something about that stranger. I don't know. Never seen that person. I don't. But there's something there. Sometimes that's an unfamiliar aspect of self. Focus on the feeling of that dream, not the person. Is this a new part of you emerging, right? Be open to that. If that stranger really spoke to you, like that was a check mark in your dream, lean into that. Then there's something there, right? There's something there. Birds, that's my final one I'm going to just go through today. Freedom, maybe spiritual perspective. Are the birds flying around or are they grounded? What direction are they moving? What messages might they carry, right? All those aspects of our dream feed into what the purpose of that dream is about. So now let's talk about a dream journal. What type of dream was it? I always say sometimes you can start here and sometimes you end or you come back after the interpretation or you dismiss it altogether. Who cares, right? Who cares? So again, the types of dreams are prophetic, informational, and problem solving, release dreams, wish and memory dreams, or astral travel dreams. So and certainly you know that there's so many variants of degrees in between. So like my wish and memory dream, I call those entertainment dreams too. Like I entertain myself. So again, be mindful, make your own names. No rules, no rules. In your dream, because again, we're talking about our dream journal, you want to understand what feels important. What feels important in the dream, right? Who was in the dream? What was the location? What was the action? What was the emotion did you have? And again, what feels important is important. What didn't feel important isn't. And I will always ask you to lean in first with the emotion. What was your emotion? And let it then ripple out and see what else catches your lighted attention. And dismiss the details that don't. Don't try to talk yourself into why these details are important. Your heart knows what your heart knows. So don't feel like you have to check off everything that you see, feel, and hear. Keep with your light, not with your ego. And see, does something keep getting repeated? Do you find yourself being lost, not being able to find a location, or being chased? Or is the same person appearing as in my friend with the golf? Is the same emotion being felt, just in different settings? See what keeps repeating, because what keeps repeating needs addressing, right? Lesson or blessing. And it can be as simple as just acknowledgement. And then it diffuses. That's all I needed. Goodbye. Done. I don't need to do anything more. Set your intent. I want to have this. Please have me wake to when it happens. Set your intent. These are all part of working towards your dream and filling in a dream journal. You can fill it in with pencil and paper. You can do it with your voice recorder. You can do it. I will say, if you awake, sometimes the more we sleep, the smaller it gets. But I'm going to say this. We remember what we need to remember. So if you're like, I don't know, I was here, I remember where, then it's not important, right? You will remember what you need to remember. But again, this is a very individual and spiritual. Some people just get really so deep in sleep that they truly forget it. And okay. So see where you sit with it. But I always say what you remember is what you're meant to remember, right? If you're foggy in some other details, then those details aren't important. Those aren't part of what you need to retain, to see what you needed. See what you needed. I'm going to take a short break, and then I'm going to give you my dream using these dream journal characteristics. Be right back. All right. So welcome back. And I filled out this dream journal. I know you can't see me. And it's interesting because I did it on February 6th of 23. And I remember the intent of it. And I remember I was having a big group and we were going into this dream journal. And I said, okay, give me authentic dream. I really want to give an authentic dream and fill this out to show my group exactly what I went through, to give it, kind of an example. So here it is. I'm very aware of my dreams, so I could name that dream. But I'm going to save that to the end. All right. So remember the 5 different dreams: prophetic, problem solving, informational, release nightmare, a wish or memory, and astral travel, or a visit of sorts. So here's my action. So I start with the action. That's my first characteristic. So action, symbols, who was there, reoccurring parts, overall emotion, and my interpretation. So I'm going to say that again in case you want to just write that down and create your own journal. Nothing. So type of dream, and then I would just name it or check mark it. Next block would be the action or motion in my dream. Next block would be the symbols I felt. Next block was who was there. Next block is reoccurring parts. Next, the overall emotion. And finally, when I put it together, my interpretation. And let me say, do not feel you have to fill out every one. Fill out the blocks that make sense to you, right? If you go in any order, do not feel like you have to go in an order, right? Go wherever it speaks to you. What spoke to you first? Go in that column and write it down. So Those are just some guidelines. I really did fill out each one of them just so you could see what would go in each of the categories, and I will kind of go through that in that order. So here is let me give you the big picture of my dream. It was I have my beautiful little Lucy Boosie. She's a cockapoo and she's just marvelous. She's actually sitting right by me right now, comfy, cozy in her little chair watching me. My Lucy Boosie had to go to daycare in my dreams, right? And it was my journey from point A to point B and getting Lucy to daycare. That was the big part of the dream. But certainly we know that wasn't the dream. So here is in my trials and tribulations from getting from A to B. That's the big picture. So the action or motion that I wrote in it is I was under time pressure to get Lucy to time. I could feel that the time pressure. I got to get Lucy to daycare. I think I had to go to work, or there was something that was coming through. I was driving and constantly going down the wrong roadways, and all of a sudden, at the end of my dream, I ended at my destination, my B. I ended up at her daycare. That's the action or motion that was in my dream. Stay with me. So the symbols that I felt was I was driving in a car. I was in a familiar location. I was in my city. So being in my city and knowing my streets, and I still couldn't get from A to B. Following me? And my daughter was with me. My daughter's friend, and my dog Lucy. So I'm kind of including that next block too. So my daughter was with me, my daughter's friend, and my Lucy, because of course I was taking her to daycare. And the symbols I felt was my daughter. She knows this location too. She has got this incredible directness, and she knows, and she's so good and trusting, right? I trust my daughter. I know she's got my back here in the car. This is all dream, right? So I have the time pressure of getting to daycare. I have my daughter's friend, who means nothing in this dream, but she was there, right? Because I say sometimes it doesn't matter, but I'm putting so many things in my blocks just so you can kind of see it in my Lucy. So I'm driving this car. I'm constantly going down the wrong road. I'm in a familiar location. How can that be happening? I got that time pressure. I got to get Lucy to daycare because I got to get A, B, or C. I have my daughter. I trust her. I remember, why are we going in the wrong direction? And so the reoccurring parts that I see in my dream state is driving and being confused in a familiar or a comfortable setting. That morphs in different ways. It manifests in different ways. But that is a reoccurring part that I have often in my dreams. Um, and putting authoring my daughter in there was comfort. She was comfort for me, trying to ease me in my craziness and my angst and what is going on? And she'd be like, it's okay, Mom. We can take this road. Or she was my trusted confidant in the car in my dream. But I was above her. Right? I was so aggravated and I was so confused, and she was trying to diffuse me, and her friend was like a nothing there. I don't know why I authored in there, but again, it doesn't matter. And so my overall emotion, and this is the kingpin, was I was confused and not understanding why I can't get to B. I know these roads. I take this road and I end up in a place I'm dead end, and I don't know where I am. I'm overwhelmed with time. And then, like I said, the action at the beginning of this statement is, then all of a sudden I was in the parking lot of daycare, and there was no road that took me there. I was just there. Like, that was my dream. So when I moved and I took everything together, the overall emotion, the symbolism I felt, the driving the car and the reoccurring parts in the action emotion, how I just ended where I was supposed to. All of a sudden, not by going down the right road, but just ending there. So my interpretation was, I have lots of moving parts in my life at that time. And at that week, it was a critical week, and I had so many things to think about and decide, and A, B, and C. And my interpretation, what my higher self told me, it will all go as it should, Cheryl. It will all be okay. You will end up in that daycare parking lot. It'll just happen. And that was just like let it go, Cheryl. Release that junk, right? That junk that I was carrying that week, that I was supporting that, right? I was making that live, and let that go, because All will go as it should. It will always be okay. You will end up in that parking lot. Lucy got to daycare on time. See, it will all be okay. And it truly was, and I really want to emphasize, it truly was very authentic to where I was on that February 6th of 23. And I actually wrote the time. It was on a Monday morning, which makes sense, right? Because we start in the week, and it was at 5:30 a.m. So again, sometime that you will start seeing maybe the days of the week, maybe the time, right? These are my times that I remember. Those are some important things. So when I put those all together, what type of dream do you think I had? I interpreted it as a blending. I interpreted it. A release is certainly, I think, what most of you would know, but I also did it as a problem-solving and informational dream. Like that was for me saying, okay, let the problems go. I'm giving you the comfort of your answers. So for me, in my interpretation, and that's all that matters, right? It was a combination. It was a combination. Things will go as things should go, Cheryl. Dreams are our connection to the spirit world and all its goodness and light. While we sleep, we travel, we visit, and we receive comfort, even if, at times, our waking mind feels unsettled or afraid. These experiences are never random. They are lovingly crafted by our higher self to guide and support us, reminding us that we are never alone. Often, when we wake, the ego rushes in with its own interpretation, clouding what our spirit gently intended to share. To truly receive the message, return to the feeling you had within the dream, not the emotion upon waking, but the one experience in that quiet, sacred space where ego is at rest. Pay attention to the action surrounding that emotion. Many other details may simply be background, fleeting, and unimportant. And know this, dreams don't only come once. Your higher self will lovingly repeat messages through patterns, symbols, or familiar feelings, nudging you toward insight, clarity, and healing. Your dreams are a call from the light, a whisper of guidance, your light arriving like the Calvary, showing up when you need it most. I hope you've enjoyed this 5-part dream series. You are unique. Your spirit is unique, and so are the dreams you create. When you're seeking meaning, turn inward. Your heart already holds the answers. Your light lives there. Your knowing lives there, and it will always offer exactly what you need. Trust it. Keep seeking it. And always remember, if it's light, it's right. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for allowing me to accompany you on your journey today. There's so much for us to explore and learn together. If there's a light-filled topic you're curious about, or if you just want to reach out, I'd love to connect. Follow me on social media at Cheryl Bradley Medium, or visit CherylBradley.com to explore my offerings and events. I hope today's episode has filled you with the light to carry with you until we meet again. And let the title of this podcast stay with you today and every day. If it's light, it's right. Blessings on your journey.